In this video, we will go over proofs with segments and angles. First thing is to write what we are given, as well as writing the reason for our steps. Since we were given that angle 3 and angle 2 are complementary, we can write that their sum adds up to 90 degrees. And our reason for being able to do that is by the definition of complementary angles. And since the measure of angle 3 is equal to 50 degrees, we can substitute that in. Now we can isolate the measure of angle 2 by adding negative 50 to both sides, which we state the reason is by the addition property. Since the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2, then we know that the measure of angle 1 is equal to 40 degrees by the transitive property. Another example. Like the last example, we want to write our givens down first, then make sure to write our reasons for all the following steps. Since we are given angle 2 and angle 3 are supplementary, and also angle 1 and angle 4 are supplementary, we can write that they add up to 180 degrees. This is because of the definition of supplementary angles. Then we can set both equations equal due to the transitive property. Then we can get rid of measure of angle 3 by adding its negative to both sides. This is because of the addition property. This leaves us with the measure of angle 2 being equal to the measure of angle 4. So therefore, by definition of congruent angles, we can say angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. Next example. First, writing what we are given. Since angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 2 is congruent to angle 3, we can write that the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 3. By the definition of congruent angles. So by the transitive property of equality, we can write that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 3. And therefore, angle 1 is congruent to angle 3 by the definition of congruent angles. Now let's look at a couple of examples involving lines and angles. Some helpful terminology is written on the left. Let's go over some of this terminology by doing an example. Notice L1 and L2 have identical red tick marks on them. This is a common notation that means they are parallel. The blue line that crosses both lines, denoted as T, is called a transversal. From these two facts, some cool things happen with the angles. One fact is that angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. Angle 2 and angle 6 are called corresponding angles, which are equal since L1 and L2 are parallel. Angle 1 and angle 8 are called alternate exterior angles, which are also equal since L1 and L2 are parallel. Angle 3 and angle 5 are called consecutive interior angles. Angle 6 and angle 8 are supplementary angles. Angle 4 and angle 5 are called alternate interior angles, which are equal since L1 and L2 are parallel. Angle 7 and angle 2 are called alternate exterior angles. And angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Another example. AD and BE are parallel since there are two right angles on the bottom there. AD and DE are perpendicular since the two segments form a right angle. CF and DH are called skew lines. The planes ADH and BEF are parallel planes because of the right angles there.